The James Show Podcast.
And I don't mean there's like a cutoff age where you're not allowed to date anymore, but where you're not allowed to date 18-year-olds, where it's kind of weird. And I've always understood that the weird cutoff, and again, I'm very open-minded about age gaps and relationships between adults. I understand that it is possible for a 42-year-old man and an 18-year-old woman to meet each other, be soulmates, fall in love, have a healthy relationship, a healthy marriage, and live out the rest of their life beautifully. Happily ever after, as the Disney term goes. Or was that like an Aesop's fable thing? But usually it's weird. But usually that's not the case. Usually something is going on other than absolutely true love when you see an 18-year-old and a 42-year-old hook up. And look, if this is you, I'm not judging you. I don't know what your situation is. But the debate that's got me interested here, it comes from, have you ever seen the Whatever podcast? It's the viral videos have the backdrop that's black and then it says at whatever in white, just over and over and over in rows on that. Because that's where this comes from. And one of the guys on that show is Andrew Wilson. He's 42 years old, and he got in a discussion with another guy who was saying it is weird for a man his age to date much younger women. Now, I don't agree with Andrew Wilson on this, but he's making some good points that kind of make me rethink my position, and I'd like to hear what you think about this.
If you date an 18-year-old, what's the problem?
Date an 18-year-old?
Yeah.
At a different stage of life.
So?
What do you mean?
Why do you have to be at the same stage of life to date someone? That's stupid.
Because I think you should want to date someone who's on your level.
Yeah, but people fall in love, have massively dissimilar interests, different IQs, different everything, and absolutely love each other. Mm-hmm. What's the problem with that?
I don't think there's a problem with it when you get a lot older, but I do think like men of your age dating women who are like in their late teens, even if it's legal, is weird.
Why is it weird? That's quite the argument. It's weird.
Hold on.
Weird.
Are you arguing that there is nothing problematic whatsoever at all with, how old are you, like 50?
No. I'm 41.
Nice.
41.
Mm-hmm. Do you think nothing wrong with you if you wanted to go by UC Santa Barbara right now and,
What would be wrong with me dating an 18-year-old woman who wanted to date me? Why would that be problematic? Why? What's strange about it?
Because you are in different life experiences than she is. She is vastly...
Do you think 41-year-old women are going to be... Like, let's say I wanted children. Don't you think I should date younger if I wanted to have a lot of children?
Date an 18-year-old to have children?
Well, you're going to be able to give me the most amount of children, right?
Okay.
Can you tell me what's wrong with that, Oliver?
Yes.
What?
Because you're taking advantage of someone.
Oh, taking advantage. Isn't it the case that if I'm 41, she's 18, the chances that our children are going to have more resources than if she had children with another 18-year-old, our children are likely going to have way more resources, right, Oliver?
I think having a differential like that is going to introduce
Can you answer the question, Oliver?
I don't know, Andrew.
You don't know?
No.
You don't know if the average 41-year-old has children with 18-year-old, that 18-year-old is going to have more resources for their children than with the average 18-year-old, Oliver?
I think she's going to be traumatized.
Can you answer the question, Oliver? I'm not interested in your emotional state.
You're also not interested in the emotional state of 18-year-olds if you want to date them. That's
answer the question.
Woo! So let's talk about this. Again, I'll say that it's possible that an 18-year-old and a 42-year-old could be soulmates and live happily ever after. I also try and put this let's get out of our own head and let's get out of our own context and recognize that a 42-year-old marrying an 18-year-old, if you read history books, kind of happens a lot more than you would expect. And there's also a couple of pop culture examples that I think would flesh out this conversation a little bit. Number one, let's use the example of one of the greatest Texans of all time, Anna Nicole Smith. And I mean that sarcastically. She's the pride of Mahia. But she got married to an 89-year-old billionaire when she was, I think she was 27. Now, you want to tell me that is true love and that's not a little bit weird? Let me use another example. Right now, Bill Belichick, he's 70-something, 72, I think. And his girlfriend is 26. She's in her mid to late 20s, and he's in his early 70s. Now, I'm not sure if these two are absolutely 100% positively in love and soulmates, but even to just be dating, I think we have to remind ourselves how different the male brain and the female brain are. And it's in a good way. Biology dictates this, but for good cause. What's the number one thing a guy is interested in when it comes to women? I mean, not not just that, but her appearance, right? Her appearance. Is she young? What does her body look like? What does her face look like? What does her hair look like? What does her smile look like? Does she walk funny? Does she have a funky limp? You know, we are more concerned with the physical appearance, and then a quick second would be sort of personality under that too. Now, women look at men differently because a lot of people think, well, how on earth could she sleep with that? Well, you got to remember, women's brains are a little deeper than men's brains are. They're not just interested in looks. They're interested in what? I know the first one's money. I got it. And it is money, but it's not, I mean, it's shallow, but it's not that shallow. You know what else? Bill Belichick's girlfriend probably enjoys the prestige of being Bill Belichick's girlfriend. Women hold that in higher regard than men do. So when she goes into a room with Bill Belichick, and there's other alpha males in the room, there's other guys who are millionaires or billionaires or politicians or famous people or celebrities or business owners and CEOs, and there's other, not whatever the age group is. If Bill Belichick goes into a room full of top-notch, elite, high-value alpha males, he's still the alpha male in the room. All those guys will look at Bill Belichick and go, holy crap, check that out. That's Bill Belichick. Oh, I've been dying to meet him. That's what women think is cool. Now, let's take these two extreme examples here, and let's kind of distill it down and kind of shrink it up. And let's talk about the 42-year-old dating the 18-year-old. If that's my 18-year-old daughter, would I be okay with that? I don't know. Depends on the 42-year-old male. If he's like a super exceptional 42-year-old male and he started his own business and he's worth millions of dollars and he's like a hardcore Christian that's still a virgin and, you know, just hasn't been through the slop like so many of us have. If he was like an exceptional dude, yeah, I could be won over. Conversely, if my 42-year-old son is dating and says, Dad, I think I want to marry this 18-year-old girl, I'd be like, are you sure? However, if I met the girl and she's exceptional and she's very mature for her age and she has a very good background, she gets good grades, she has a head on her shoulders, she has life's ambitions, she's fun to talk to, she's very well-spoken and adult, I could see myself being okay with that. However, here's the rule I'm going to go with, and I'm asking your opinion on this. I thought this was the rule. You take half of your age plus 7. And if it's less than that, it's weird. Let's start with... Hey, ladies. A lot of ladies over here. Sharon in Quinlan, you're on WBAP.
Hi.
Go ahead, Sharon.
I'm here.
Your
Are
thoughts?
you there?
Yeah, your thoughts on a 42-year-old dating an 18-year-old.
Well, my son's 42 and my daughter-in-law's 50.
Well, that's fine. How long have they been together?
They've been married 8 years, been together 11 years.
All right, so this is well into adulthood. You know, part of the sting of this question is the fact that it's an 18-year-old. If you took this same age gap, which is 24 years between 18 and 42, and you scooted it up and it was like a 30-year-old and a 54-year-old, I don't think anyone would have a problem with that. So,
it's just like with my husband and I'm 61 and my husband's 60. He used to call me his cougar. Now I'm his Def Leppard.
Def Leppard. See what you did there? Because it's a cougar. Thank you very much, Sharon in Quinlan. Elizabeth and Electra, you're on WBAP. What do you think about this?
Hey, you're not going to like me very much on this issue. For me, I think that if you weren't in high school, and I'm not saying like the same high school, I'm saying the years. If you weren't in the same high school years as the person, it's a no-go. So between 4 and 5 years, with an exception, it doesn't mean that there should be an exception like this should be okay. I'm saying it should not be okay. That if you meet the person and they're younger than 18 and you're older than 18, like especially a few years, I would say no. But
yeah, we're not talking about underage people here. But look, a 5-year age gap is your max. So you would think it's weird if a 34-year-old woman was dating a 40-year-old man?
Well, no, that's not weird. But like maybe a little bit more. It's like me personally, 4 or 5 years max. And for me, it's just because like what you brought up is like the IQ or the, just just the frame of mind, the maturity level.
Okay, a lot of us remember you from previous calls. What about the foreigner that converted you to Islam? What was your and you married him? What was your age difference?
Yeah. Well, he lied to me about everything, including his age, so I have no idea how old he was. He told me he was
someone's scorned, aren't they? All right, good to hear from you, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Man, you got some tight rules. I don't know if I can live by that. Actually, me and Miss Parker are 4 years apart, so we actually fit under the Elizabethan rule there. Thank you very much. This is Lee and Wiley. You're on WBAP. Hey, Lee.
Hey, how you doing? Great show. Love it.
Thanks.
My parents were 16 years apart. My dad was 36 and my mom was 19 when they got married in 1961.
Ooh, hang on. Your dad was 36 and she was 19. This is great. So can I be nosy here? How does a 36? How does a 36-year-old befriend a 19-year-old? Because I imagine they didn't get married on the first day. So did a 35-year-old meet an 18-year-old, or did a 34-year-old meet a 17-year-old?
18.
She was 18, and he was 35.
He was 18.
How did they meet?
He was a car salesman at a dealership in Michigan, and she came in with my grandmother to buy a new car, and they started talking, and one thing led to another.
Oh man, I don't know. Are you over 35, Lee?
Oh, I'm 62.
Okay, 35 years old. Like an 18-year-old wasn't even on the menu when I was 35. I felt like that was kind of gross.
I don't know. It's they put up with a lot of speculation, and a lot of people didn't believe they were really in love. But 55 years later, it worked. It's really weird.
Well, that's the wholesome story I'm hoping happens with all these relationships. But I noticed a couple of weird evolutions I had. When you're a young boy, when you're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 18-year-old girls are the hottest thing in the world. And then the second you get out of high school, all high school girls and down, they're all just gross. Even if they're 4 months younger than you, they're all just gross. And then the same thing happened when I got out of college. When I got out of ETBU and I first moved up here, I actually dated a girl for like a month that was going to SMU, and I felt like I was dating a child. So the other evolution that happened is when you have kids and you see like a beautiful woman, and then you realize, oh, she's closer in age to my child than me. That's like a no-go zone too. And so, my oldest kid is like 15 now. So anyone under like 29 or something, they're closer in age to him than me. And that kind of ruins the fun for me too. I'm not even sure if I was single right now. God forbid something happened to Miss Parker. But if I was single I don't think I could date anyone under 30.
Yeah. And when my grandfather, started to ask my father, like, what are your intentions and all this, there was a whole hoopla. But apparently he saw something and she saw something in him, and it worked out. And I don't know. There you go. There's your wholesome story for the day.
That's fantastic. All right. That's what I needed to hear. Thank you very much, Lee. See, they could be true love. Maybe Anna Nicole Smith really was in love with the billionaire, the 89-year-old billionaire when she was 27. You don't know. Dwayne in Fort Worth, you're on WBAP.
How are you?
Fantastic, Dwayne. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's a morality issue. I don't know that I would date that young, but it's a morality versus legality. And to throw a big wrench in this, in Texas, 17 is the age of consent, which is extremely weird. But 18 is legal. If you don't want 18-year-olds to be legal to date somebody who's in their 40s, then write your congressman. Make the law change.
So you think it's legal. Do you think it's moral?
I think it depends on the person. I mean,
so
I don't
possibly,
think you can make a
right?
Statement on that.
So that's it. Well, no, but that's a yes. You think there could be a situation in which this is okay. So you're not excluding. So It's not inherently immoral. So it could be a moral situation. What's the youngest you dated?
Absolutely. I think it could be. The youngest I've dated was 12 years younger than me, and I've been married to her now for 13 years.
Hey, I knew you had to have that strong opinion coming from somewhere. Now, how old were you when y'all met?
I was 33.
And she was 21?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't think that's weird. I think for Miss Parker, her parents are 12 years apart. Hi, Miss Parker. But I think it's actually creepy for them, but that's just because I don't like my father-in-law. That's all. All right. Thank you very much. Kevin in Fort Worth, you're on WBAP. What do you think?
I think it's absolutely fine. As long as they're 20 and above. 18, fresh out of high school, is still too young to make decisions kind of for themselves. They're not legal to, drink and stuff after 21, maybe. They can just date and marry whoever they want, because in the end, marriage is temporary anyway, because look at Tarrant County. Their courthouse is plumb full of divorces. So who's to say any relationship is real? You know, so if they want to have some fun and play around with an old man that has a lot of money, why not?
Kevin, you're the ultimate skeptic. You're divorced?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear it. I think we all heard it. I think Kim heard it in the next room even. What was your age gap?
My age gap, she was a year older than I.
See, now look, it's been explained to me by other divorced guys, and you sound like you're about my age. Part of the problem that a lot of guys get when they get to be our age and they dump the first wife, the old first wives club, is that the first wife knew them when they were young and when they were dumb and they weren't as accomplished, and she still treats you like that young, dumb idiot. However, if you trade off and go younger, this is a girl who sees you as the successful, accomplished, respectable person that you've become, and that's all she knows of you. So you probably get treated better when you ditch the first one and go to the second one. And so, and I know that sounds shallow, but it's less shallow than, well, he wants to date the younger girl because she's hotter. Like it's almost like an opposite of shallow. There's almost, I don't know. I don't want to say deep, but a little more complicated reasoning behind just that the younger girl's hotter. There's also the respect issue. There's also, how you interact with each other. And, for people who do have a big age gap, there's a little bit of fun to be had with that. She can tease him about being an old man. He can tease her about not knowing who Gabe Kaplan is, and we all have a good time.
Absolutely. 21 and above, younger than that, that's off limits, I think, for anyone older. If she's older than 21, fine, go for it. If she wants to make that choice, that's hers to make.
What's the youngest you've dated since the divorce?
Recently, I dated an older one. She was about 4 years older than me. So
you are not learning your lesson, Kevin. All right. Got to run. Thank you very much for sharing your story. Nate Bargatze, one of the top comedians of 2025, has something that hit close to home for a lot of people. Now, I myself am a bit of a techie, but a lot of people in my orbit are not, and I think they can relate to this.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know technology. I don't know what AI is. I don't think you get to know what AI is and also see a donkey jump off a high dive. I think it was one or the other, and I saw the donkey, so I'm out. If I send an email and it says the file is too big, I don't know what to do. My best guess is I try to resend it. That's what I try to do. You know how dumb that is? The computer's like, no. And I go, what about now, though?
Yeah, that doesn't work with computers. And sometimes, how come that works with cars, though? Why is it you can try and turn your car on and it'll be like, and you just stop and you wait a second and you try it again, and that time it works. Cars have messed with our heads because cars, they are machines. They're not living, breathing things. They're not organic. They are a yes or no. They are a binary. Yet sometimes they seem to act like animals. They seem to have emotions. They seem to have an attitude sometimes. But computers are just cold-blooded. What about now, though? Yeah, I can totally relate to that. Another piece of audio that I think you'd get a good kick out of. We have the guy over here, not a big fan of the Greyhound bus system. This is James McCann.
I've seen it. I've enjoyed the beautiful underclass of America. I got on the Greyhound bus. It's the worst place in the world. It's the Greyhound bus terminal is the worst place in the world. There are children in Gaza right now going, well, we're not in a Greyhound bus terminal. So there's holes in the walls. People are spitting on the ground. There's on the walls. Young Sheldon is playing at full volume on a television. I don't know why that was the most upsetting part of the whole thing. The restrooms were labeled ladies and gentlemen, which was hugely inaccurate. Scoundrels and whores would have been close to the mark, I do believe.
Scoundrels and whores. Have you ever actually ridden a Greyhound bus? Raise your hand if you've actually bought a ticket, got on a Greyhound bus, and went on a long trip. Because I only did it once in my life, and there's a reason I only did it once in my life. I will never, ever do that again. The roommate I mentioned earlier that we were splitting a house, that his dad went to the Unitarian Church. He got married in Atlanta. He met some girl from Atlanta, and they had to have the wedding in Gwinnett County. And I'm from here. I don't know anything that happens east of the Sabine, really. Louisiana's as far as I've been. And I was like, all right, I can't afford the trip. I definitely can't afford to fly. If I wanted to drive, it would actually cost me more money than if I took a Greyhound bus. And this is me. I'm like 21. I'm as poor as you can possibly be. So I took the Greyhound bus. I did not realize that thing stops like every 45 minutes. Oh, my God. It took a trip that would probably be maybe, 10, 12 hours in a car, and it made it a whole day affair. And you don't stop at cool places at cool times. You don't get to stop, at the Bishop Arts District at 7 p.m. on a Saturday night. You're stopping at Meridian, Mississippi's Greyhound bus station at 3 a.m., and you got to get off the bus so they can add more people to the bus, and some people have to get off, and they got to put their luggage on. And so you're just chilling in a Greyhound bus station in Meridian, Mississippi at 3 a.m. on I don't know if it's Wednesday night or Thursday morning, and I don't care. But it is a level of depth of humanity that I think is right. I mean, just one rung on the ladder above being in your county jail. It was God awful. And, people talk about, it stinks or it's crowded or it's all that. It's worse than you think. Instead of taking the Greyhound bus, I would recommend hitchhiking to Atlanta, because then I had to take the damn thing back too. All right, that's going to about do it for the James Show today. Bryan Adams brings his Roll with the Punches tour to the American Airlines Center on November 13th. Special guests, Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Get tickets and information now at livenation.com, or you can listen to the WBAP Morning Show tomorrow morning for your chance to win tickets. I don't know when, so just listen to the whole thing, okay? In the meantime, in the next 21 hours, if you need more James Show action, that's what the podcast is for. Go find the James Show podcast and stick around, because coming up next, the great one, Mark Levin on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.
The James Show podcast.